All right, I want to go to Drew Barrymore. I've been trying to get her on the show for a long time, and finally I did it because she found an issue that moves her. She, of course, is a big-time movie star and a first-time director. Her documentary, The Best Place to Start, is now showing on MTV. Drew Barrymore, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm so good. Thank you for having me on your show.
Well, thank you for being had. I saw the documentary on MTV. When did they stop showing videos? No,
Excuse
I'm joking, of course. I found it very affecting, and I thought you used me very well, and I thought I'd be a very good villain in the next Charlie's Angels movie. You know, half the country thinks I'm evil already. But, you know, you are the second... How old are you, Drew Barrymore?
I'm going to be 30 in February.
I thought that. Okay, you are the second 29-year-old I've had on in the last month and a half. The first was Andre from Outkast, who suddenly woke up to politics and voting, and you're both out there urging 18-year-olds to do exactly what you didn't do when you were 18. Now, how do you reconcile that?
Well, I have had plenty of contradictions in my life, but the truth is that I actually saw an episode of your show while I was editing the documentary and still filming it. And you were speaking with Russell Simmons, and you said, why would you push children who are ignorant into the ballot box, and isn't that dangerous? And it kept me up all night. In my mission to sort of figure out why young people don't vote and why they should, I thought that that was an incredible point to make. So I sort of soul-searched after hearing that and thought, you know what? After hearing things like that, and after spending 1 year of my life trying to set up a college for myself of why voting is important, and putting a little bit of politics aside and figuring out through history and a multitude of people, historians, comedians, kids who are voting for student body elections, why is voting important, and what is important for young people to know, and what's important that I learned, is that it's about learning about yourself and learning who you are, so that when you do take the time, and you should, and it doesn't have to be a 24/7 job, to find someone that represents who you think you are, it becomes a much more personal, sacred, beautiful, empowering ritual than becoming daunted by the highfalutin, alienating world of politics.
You have been watching way too much Oprah. You know what? Excuse me, but it is not about you and feeling good about yourself. It is about something bigger in the country, and that is why we can't get kids in the voting booth or to care. Don't you think that voting is a symptom of a bigger problem? Which is that, A, kids aren't educated, they're not informed, and they don't care. Nobody has ever told this generation that there is something bigger than you and yourself and how you feel.
Well, yeah. So you're too damn smart. This was just a route that I needed to take. It was something that helped me understand. But at the same time, I spent 1 solid year of my life through the highs and lows. I would want to just rip my head out at the end of the night, to having utter moments of the most brilliant inspiration I've ever had in my life, because I actually did spend the time to learn about it. I didn't know what the Electoral College was and the debate about electronic voting and, you know, why we vote on Tuesdays and the percentage of the statistics of who votes where and why, where you register, how many days you have to register in each state. North Dakota, I believe, has no registration, has the highest voter turnout. I became an encyclopedia for myself, but I think I didn't want to walk into kids' venue and say, look, you should learn, you should do this, you're wrong, because I rebel against that finger pointing. I just thought trying to learn about yourself might help give you a clue as to what to look for when you're searching out these candidates in politics. And it's not just about our president, even though that's the most important election that you'll be involved in because it represents us as a whole and more importantly to the rest of the country. It's about your student body election, and it's about, you know, your city council and your local community. And at what point do you get interested in voting, and who's talking to you about it? I didn't have a family that talked to me about it. My family didn't talk to me about anything. So I found myself at 28 being ignorant, apathetic.
Well, that's part of the problem, is that kids don't have that in their background. They don't have that dinner table conversation about politics. They don't have the civics course in school. And when you say to them, maybe if you'd vote, things would turn out better for you down the line. Of course, when you're 18, there is no down the line. I mean, why do old people get everything? Because they vote. The senior citizens got this massive drug entitlement program. Maybe if the kids vote, the politicians would give them drugs. And kids want drugs, let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, all these politicians kept saying to me, kids don't vote so the candidates don't have to appeal to them. 72% of voters 65 to 74 vote. 36% of 18 to 24-year-olds voted in the last election. So you understand for a second why politicians don't bother with kids, but then you think, oh my God, what a vicious cycle. Kids don't vote, politicians don't appeal to them, but if kids got out there and understood who they were and what they wanted in this world and made it happen, their voter numbers would go up and the candidates would be on their knees to them and having to learn what children's issues are and would have to start a dialogue with them, and we could actually change the world. So as daunting and depressing as that was, there is a solution.
Okay. Well, you're a really good ombudsman to the kids, because even though you're a big mogul and a very successful person, they sort of still see you. That's what I mean. They still sort of see you as somebody who can relate to them and still loves them unconditionally, which I can't do myself. Thank you, Drew Barrymore, and you keep your campaign going. It's certainly a good thing you're doing. Okay. Drew Barrymore, everybody. I didn't mean to yell at her, but when she started with that...
You finally got her on and you jumped her.
I'm sorry, but I can't take that talk about, it's got to be all about... Yeah, come on. Okay. Sorry, Drew. All right, but speaking of voting, listen, apparently...